Over the last 2 years, I tried doing almost all types of businesses and side hustle while still working full-time as a developer. In this video, I'll share everything that I learned, all the mistakes that I make, and share the best route to start making your side income as a developer literally today. Hey, my name is Andrew, ex-barista and now senior full-stack developer, and on this channel, I help beginners to start an IT and developers to make more. Let's cover 4 ways on how you can make extra income as a developer, from easiest to hardest ones. For every way, I'll provide you with a step-by-step framework on how you can start with it literally today. So, as always, no fluff, just practical information based on my real-world experience. Let's begin. Having a personal brand is the most valuable asset that is very hard to lose, because your investments can crash to zero, especially if you hold them in crypto. Sad face. But personal brand, if done right, can serve you for almost your whole life. Good example of that are actors and celebrities. Those people who became popular once, unless they're doing something stupid with their lives, are staying popular their whole life. And the only way to build a personal brand is to create a content around yourself. It doesn't have to be videos, or you don't have to go to television. It can be newsletters, writing blogs. I even seen people who build their personal brand from just sending SMSs. But you have to create some type of content. The second thing about content is that it's so simple to get started with it. Simple doesn't mean easy, so it's gonna take a lot of hard work and dedication to become popular using content and to learn how to create good content. You can literally start today. Starting path is very simple. You just take your phone, film it yourself, post it on the internet, and you're already making content. And comparing to other ways to start your own side hustle that we're gonna cover in this video, content is the easiest and the fastest and the cheapest to start with. Because, for example, spoiler alert, to build your own app, you need to spend let's say half a year to build it. But with content, in half a year, you can already have 50 plus Instagram reels posted, or 20 YouTube videos, or 30 to 50 blog posts. And I've been doing content for over 2 years and went from cringe stories. This is how I managed to save potential millions of dollars for my client, part 2.
So, as you remember from last part, we have food delivery app and use Stripe to proceed all the payments, but Stripe takes 0.20 cents from each transaction, and it's too much.
2 cringe YouTube videos like this one, and sometimes some high quality reels on Instagram, and YouTube videos filmed with professional microphones like this one, expensive camera, good lighting. I have this blue lighting behind me, so it takes a lot of time to buy all of the things and to learn how to use them to have a beautiful picture on the screen. And based on everything that I learned throughout those years of creative content, here is a 3-step simple framework that will help you to get started with the content literally today as a developer. Step 1 is defining your sub-niche. And please pay attention that I'm not saying niche, I'm saying sub-niche. Because you're, as a developer or future developer, probably want to talk on topics related to IT. And your niche is IT or programming. But this topic is too broad, and there are a lot of popular YouTubers who talk on that topic. They have more money, more experience, more audience, and more leverage. So it will be really hard to stand out. But if you're gonna have your own small sub-niche, you can become the best in this small sub-niche. And then when you're gonna have more leverage and better content, you can grow to broader niches. So try to find something unique about yourself and your situation and use it as a main storyline of your YouTube channel or Instagram blog or newsletter. So for example, it can be ex-surfer who learns how to code. And you can talk about programming and coding, add videos on the background, how you're surfing and how concept that you learned from surfing help you to learn programming, and compare JavaScript bugs with waves or whatever. Another example can be an IT student who builds a side hustle and works as an intern. And you can share everything what you learned from the job of an intern, everything what you're learning during building your own side hustle, what you try, what works, what doesn't work. And people who are in the similar situation to you, so IT students who want to build their side hustles or IT students who work as interns, really like your content because it's gonna be just so relatable to them. And they're gonna be happy to listen to you because you're in the very similar situation as they are, maybe just 1 step ahead. So they want to learn how you got where you're right now. Because you're not that far away from them, it will be really interesting for them to learn from you. Moreover, we tend to trust more people who are similar to us. So if you can relate with people, they will be happy to follow you, comment you, DM you, talk to you. So it can be a good way to build some nice connections. One more example, web developer who mastered animations. So there are a lot of web developers on YouTube and on the internet, but there are not a lot of web developers who know really well how to create awesome animations. Another example is me. The main storyline of my blog and my content is that I was previously barista, decided to learn how to code to change my life because I didn't like cleaning tables, toilets, serving coffee, and I didn't see any growth in being a barista. So I learned how to code while still working as a barista, and now I became a developer, scaled my career, and help others to also become developers. So this is a quick overview of my main storyline. But also don't make your main storyline the only topic of your blog. And besides talking about your main topic, feel free to talk about things that you like, you're interested in. I mainly talk about programming and development career. Besides having a development career, I also run my own business. So this is the thing that I like, and that's why I talk about this on this channel. And your blog shouldn't be just one big tutorial. It should be you as a person giving value to the audience. And by value, I mean valuable content, valuable information, motivation, tips, advices, maybe sometimes entertainment, support. So define your sub-niche, but talk about different topics that you like and just be authentic. So step 2 in starting with content is doing a research. Of course, it's super nice to just talk about things that you like in the way you like, but we live in the real world and you compete with hundreds and thousands of people who also make content. So before starting out with content, I recommend going through a couple of small courses on how to actually do good content that will already help you to increase the quality of the content that you do. You can also analyze your competitors and see what worked for them. So don't look at what works for them right now, but what actually helped your competitors to get where they are right now. For example, if you're going to be starting out with Instagram, you can find a couple of competitors on Instagram who do similar type of content and scroll through their profiles and see when their reels started getting like better views, what they started doing differently, what they figured out. And note down all of those things that you're going to learn from them and everything that worked for them. And that will give you kind of an idea on what you can start with and what you can start trying. And then you will just learn by doing, by seeing how one type of content works versus the other, and by just constantly adding improvements. But you need this good starting point, and the only way to make it good is to do a couple of courses, do a research, analyze your competitors, and also learn how to do a storytelling and how to tell stories. But that's probably what you're gonna learn throughout those courses if they're going to be good. I mean, you can even start with some YouTube videos, that there are a lot of valuable content on the YouTube. And the last step, the step number 3, before you're gonna be able to start filming content, is setup. So you're probably gonna think that you need an expensive camera, lighting, setup, but no, to be honest, to get started with content, you just literally need your phone. One thing that I would definitely invest into if you have some extra $300 is good audio. Of course, right now we have AI tools that can turn shitty audio into good audio, but it takes a lot of effort, time, etc. With good audio, for example, I have myself Rode Wireless Go 2 here. This is the perfect thing that I bought like 2 years ago, and it served me so well and still serves me really well. You just turn on this thing, you turn on another thing that you connect into, like, let's say camera, phone or computer, and boom, everything works. You don't need to set anything up. It's super simple, super easy to use, really cool device, 100% recommended. And with this thing, you can have a good quality audio outside, inside. I still film some of my reels on the phone just because it's faster and I always have it with me, although I have an expensive camera, but sometimes it's just not super convenient to film on it. So start with this simple setup, and then later when you grow, you can invest in something more expensive. And definitely invest some time, like a couple of weeks, into learning how to do a basic editing of your videos, because for start, I don't recommend spending a lot of money on editors. So moreover, you want to learn how to edit your own videos if you're gonna be filming videos to better understand the content game. And then later, when you grow, you can hire like extra editors who will edit like your reels, your shorts, your YouTube videos, just so you can focus on actual content, on writing it and filming it. One more time, I want to mention that you don't have to film videos if you don't like talking in front of the camera, filming yourself. So there are a lot of platforms where you post videos like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and there are platforms where you can just write like LinkedIn, X, vlogging platforms, newsletters. So it's up to you what type of content you want to create. With video content, it's usually a little bit faster to grow because videos have a higher chances of going viral. But for example, in Twitter, you can also grow pretty quickly if you do it right. So it literally doesn't matter what type of content you're gonna be doing. And lastly, let's talk a little bit about money. So with content, you can make money either directly or indirectly. By directly, I mean just basically putting some ads or promotions of other people's services or products into your content. But to make a lot of money with that, you're gonna need a like really big YouTube channel or Instagram blog and a lot of audience, which is pretty hard to do. So most content creators make good money indirectly by selling their own products or services. But more on that in the next part of the video. Alright, now let's talk about teaching. This method can potentially bring you extra thousands and thousands of dollars every single month when done right, or can lead to money losses and emotional damage, as it was for me when I tried it for the first time. So I would like to start with my personal story on how not to launch teaching products. So a couple of years ago, when I already started making good money with programming, I started running my Instagram blog. And after some time of running it, I decided that it will be a good idea to launch some kind of product to share some value and my personal knowledge from the job with people in exchange for some money, so I can also start generating some extra income and add some diversification to my income. So for example, if I'm gonna lose my job, at least I'm gonna have some extra income on the side. And I started thinking, like, what thing I'm actually good with so I can make a product out of it. And at the time I was working at Software House, and Software House is just a company who builds software for other companies. So for example, you have a startup and you want to build, like, let's say, a clone of Instagram. You come to Software House and we build this application for you and give it to you, and then you try to build a business out of it. Sometimes people also call it like outsource. And at this Software House, sometimes I was working at 3, 4, or even 5 projects at the same time. That happened because they noticed that I'm really good with interviews. So they were sending me to pass the interview with the client, get this client, land this project, and then someone else was working instead of me. This is quite popular tactic that software houses are using because not a lot of people are good with interviews, but there are a lot of good developers in the company, so they're using some of the developers who are good with interviews to land those projects, to land those clients, and then other developers who are not that good with interviews are actually working on those projects. And at that point, I already passed like dozens of different interviews. I started conducting interviews myself, so I had good interviews experience, and I decided that it will be a good idea to write an ebook on how to pass a JavaScript interview. This was my very first online business idea related to programming, and I decided to do it as good as possible. I decided to learn a new tech stack, to learn Next.js and AWS Amplify, to make a really good website with some good animations, with some designs. I also asked my girlfriend, she was helping with the designs, and I spent around 3 to 4 months to build this beautiful landing page, to write the whole book. And you can't believe how much work it goes into writing a technical book. I had to recheck every single fact, every single sentence, every single word. I even hired the freelancer who checked my whole book for grammar mistakes and paid some money for that. Almost every single day after my job, I was going to the coffee shop and sitting there with my laptop and working on this ebook and on the website for it. I set up the payments, I registered the business, I implemented the payments functionality, I registered the Stripe. This is the payment processor for my website, and I wanted to make this ebook as good as possible. So we even made 2 versions of it, in light mode and in dark mode. Last week, before launch, we decided to set the deadline that we want to launch this book at this specific date. And I even announced it in the Instagram that soon expect a huge launch from me. Last days before the launch, we weren't even sleeping. My girlfriend was finishing the designs of the book, the layout, the pages. I was sitting and filming extra YouTube videos for this book, because besides just writing the book, I also attached a couple of videos that explain certain programming topics like JavaScript behind the scenes, how to work with Postman, etc. So we were barely sleeping, working whole days to finish it. Moreover, at this time, I was still working at 2 jobs as a developer, so I had to finish this ebook in deadline, finish my projects on the job. And by the way, on the job, my reputation is like my highest priority, so I always do my best on the job and try to complete everything in deadline, just so every company is 100% satisfied with my services. Because of that hard work, lack of sleep, we were even having conflicts with my girlfriend. She was crying because of that, all of that stress, all of that amount of work that we were put into that. So this launch was really hard emotionally for us. But at the very end, we managed to launch it at time. That was the best feeling in the world, that we finally completed the project that we put so much time in and so much work in. And do you know how many sales we made in the first day? You might think like, wow, 100 sales, you made hundreds and thousands of dollars. 0 sales. Nobody has even bought this book. Okay, maybe I'm lying. I got 1 sale. My father bought my book. He didn't even understood what was written there, but he decided to support me and bought my book. That was okay, but besides that, absolutely 0 sales. After that, I spent over 2 months trying to market it, to sell it, to improve the landing page, to see how people read through the page, to fix some images, some loading times, and invested over $2,000 in ads, but still got absolutely 0 sales. So this project, this launch, was a freaking failure. And I'm gonna be honest, it felt fucking shitty. After that, I needed around a month to recover and to understand like what else should I do, what next should I do, because I put so much energy into that. I had so many expectations about this launch, but it completely failed. But from this failure, you can learn a lot of mistakes that I made, so you don't make them yourself. And soon we're gonna get to the framework on how to launch your products and your services so you don't fail like I failed. So after this failure, I needed a couple of months to recover. These were one of the worst periods of my life because I just didn't know what to do next. I had so many expectations about this book, and to be honest, like everything wasn't that bad, so I still had my job. At that time, I also landed a really good US client with whom I was working, but it was really painful that my main goal was to kind of build something on the side, some type of business, some type of extra income, and it completely failed, and I just don't know what to start with, what to do next. So after recovering, I decided to dedicate a couple of months to studies. So I bought some courses on business, on launching products, on marketing, on sales. And this is, by the way, where comes the first lesson. Before doing anything, you need to learn how to do it first. And if you know programming, it absolutely doesn't mean that you know marketing or sales or how to launch stuff. So you have to spend as much time as you spend on studying programming to study things like marketing and sales if you want to actually succeed with your business. So I spent a couple of months studying different courses, watching different videos, reading different books. By the way, some of the books recommendation I usually share in my Instagram, so make sure to follow it. And after half a year of studying, learning, preparing, planning, I finally launched my next product, and actually the biggest product of my life that I'm still running, my programming academy, Zacra Academy. This is one of the best places to learn front-end development from zero to job with personal mentoring, support, guarantees, weekly homeworks, calls, community, interview preparation, practices, tests, and step-by-step roadmap. I'll not be diving deep into my academy and what we do there. If you're interested, you can check out the link under this video. But I'm working on this project till this date. We got a lot of sales, and this project was actually something that people wanted, that people needed, and that actually helps people. And I actively work on this project up to this day. So the moral of the story here is never launch something that you think is good, but launch something that people actually want. And this was my main mistake with my JavaScript interview ebook. I launched it because I knew that I'm good with interviews and that will be interesting for me to create such a book. And I thought that people will need it and will want it because I was conducting a lot of interviews. Beginners on those interviews were making the exact same mistakes, so I thought this book might be helpful for them. But then when I passed some courses, read some books, I understood that the first step that you do when launching something, you need to do a huge research of your audience, of people needs, what they want, how they want it. And after doing this research, I realized that most people need a step-by-step help from the beginning to the end. And that's why the Academy worked way better than my ebook, because that was something that actually people wanted. All right, enough of me. Now let's talk about this step-by-step framework that you need to take if you want to start teaching others and make some extra income out of it. So step 0 is, of course, you need to actually have knowledge in what you want to teach, because you don't want to be another business guru who teaches business, but the only business he has is the business that teaches others how to make business. So please don't be type of fake guru and teach others when you actually don't know anything yourself. Before teaching others within my academy, I also taught some people for free online with one-on-one mentoring. And this is actually step 1, start small. Instead of launching like your huge academy, huge business out of it, recording a huge course, start with something small. Find a couple of people and mentor them one-on-one to help them to reach their end result or end goal. Maybe tutor a couple of students who are having issues with passing some programming related exams, for example. Or record a mini course on how to, for example, get a promotion, or mini course how to do beautiful animations with CSS, let's say. Or it can be like small book or small guide or email course, for example. So something small that won't take you too much time to do, but launching this small thing will teach you so many things about launching stuff, working with people, will help you to develop your systems, will teach you how to do marketing, how to do sales, and will help you to make some first money with it and just see if it works for you and if it's something that you like. Step 2 there is doing a huge research. So if you don't want your launch to be such a failure as launch of my JavaScript interview ebook, you need to do a huge research and understand what your audience, people who you know, or your potential clients actually want. For that, the simplest way is just doing research and talking to people. If you already started following step 1 and making content, great, you might have some audience to talk with, to get some insights with, to run some service on. But if you don't have it, which most of you probably do, and most of you probably don't have any audience, you can just run simple ads. So create a simple ad where you invite people to your landing page. On this landing page, give people some value for free. So it can be like small guide or mini course or on any interesting topic about IT. And in exchange of this free guide or free resource, people will have to fill out this short survey where you're gonna put like 5 questions to get some info about this person, like what their age, where do they live, what is their main difficulty, at what stage of their journey they are, what they need help with. And by that, you will be able to analyze profiles of the people you're gonna potentially working with, what issues they're facing, what they need help with, what difficulties they have, and it will give you an idea of the product that you can build that solves all of those issues and fits these people. Later, you can even invite some of those people on like one-on-one calls to talk about that, to interview them, and to understand better their needs. I recommend reading book The Mom Test. That will give you an exact understanding on how to properly ask questions, to get honest answers from people and to understand what they actually want. Because most people are nice, they just don't want to say anything bad about your ideas because not to harm you. So you also need to learn how to properly ask questions to get the proper responses. Step 3 in launching your own product is to spend as much time on marketing and sales as you spend on the actual product. Of course, you want to create a good product and spend a lot of time on it, but you need to also spend a lot of time on the marketing. Otherwise, nobody will even know that your good product actually exists. And I know we are developers and we like building stuff, creating stuff, and we don't super like marketing and sales, but this is the essential part of the business and you just have to learn it, how to do it, and do a lot of it to be able to sell your product. or you'll not make any money. That's just the honest truth. And this is the exact mistake I also made with the book. I spent a lot of time on the website, on the book itself, but I spent like really little time on actual marketing, selling it, promoting it, talking about it, and so on. Step 4 here is to build just one thing and work on optimizations. If you did the right research, most likely the thing that you're building is a good thing and people actually ready to pay money for it. But after launching it, most likely it will not be super profitable. But if it makes at least some sales, instead of switching to a new opportunity and building new project, getting like new idea, because we all have this shiny object syndrome when we just finished building one thing and then we got another idea and we started building another thing. Before building another thing, please focus on optimizations for the current thing that you have. Because by building another thing, you'll make the exact same mistakes and this another thing much more profitable than this first thing. But if you're gonna spend a couple of months improving this one thing, so improving your marketing, improving your pages, improving your product, improving how you work with the customers, how you talk about it, improving your copywriting skills, improving your emails, and just optimizing every single step of it as possible and trying to make it profitable. By just doing that, even if it won't work out, you learn so many things about how to build a cool system around selling something that those knowledge will help you to make your next launch much more profitable and much more successful. But to be able to optimize things, you need to know your numbers. And this is the last 5th tip on launching your own teaching products, is to just know all of your numbers. You need to know how much money you spend on marketing. What is the conversion percentage of your website? How many leads you are getting? How many of them are opening your emails? How many of them are buying? At what stages of the process of being your customer they are leaving you or not paying, not converting? So you need to have one spreadsheet with all of your numbers. It will give you a clear idea and picture on what's working versus what's not working. So you can focus on optimizing things that are not working, fixing them, and fixing the whole thing. Because this is really funny how it works, but just fixing like one number, let's say conversion percentage on your website, by a couple of percentages can completely turn your business from failure to business that actually brings money. And sometimes it's just about like one small optimization that can actually make it profitable. Of course, it will not go from $0 to $100,000 in like one day, but by adding a lot of those small improvements, you can actually make product that barely makes any money to a product that's actually profitable. Before we're gonna move on to the last point, I wanted to quickly mention another way on how you can make some extra income as a developer, and it's called services. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have my own personal experience running a service-based business to make some side income, so I'll not be spending a lot of time talking about that just because I don't have my own personal experience in that, and I don't want to be another fake guru who talks about things that I don't know. But to make this video complete, I still wanted to mention this method because I was doing some researches, I was working in the service-based businesses, so I have some context on it. Service-based business is very similar to freelancing. It's basically just about doing the best thing that you can do, writing code, but doing it for other people. And instead of doing it on your job, when you have like a normal job contract, you just do it for a lot of different people, for smaller projects, for bigger projects, for projects that last just a couple of weeks, to projects that last like months or years. So basically to everyone who you can find. And sometimes it can be building apps from zero, sometimes it's fixing bugs, sometimes it's just helping to finish something before the deadline. So kind of freelancing work. And the best way to start with it is to basically just start freelancing and growing your client base. With time, when you will not be able to handle all of the job yourself and you're going to be having more clients that you can potentially handle, you'll start hiring other people and delegating this work to them. And that's how you're gonna basically start growing your own service-based business. With time, you're gonna have more and more developers and you're gonna be coding less and less, and you're gonna focus more on management, growing it, looking for clients, making sales. With time, you're gonna hire like managers, maybe you're gonna partner with someone, you're gonna be hiring salespeople and just growing it from there. And the most important thing there when starting out your own service-based business is to also find a niche. So there are a lot of service-based businesses, software houses, companies who do development. So you need to find super small, specific niche and become the best in this niche, and then you can grow from there. Because there are hundreds of web developers, but there are not a lot of web developers who, for example, specialize in creating landing pages for websites who sell, I don't know, light bulbs. Maybe not the best example, but you got the idea. Focus on serving really specific group of clients, become the best there, get some referrals, and you can grow to wider audiences. And by the way, if you want me to try out this type of business myself and share all of the results and everything that I'm gonna learn on this YouTube channel, just let me know down below in the comments. No promises there because it takes a lot of time to build such type of business, but this sounds quite interesting, so maybe I'm gonna try it out and share my results. All right, we got to the last step, the step that most of you guys already thought about as developers, and this step is building your own app or SaaS. And I mean, that makes complete sense. Like, we are developers, We're building apps for like our portfolio while studying, then we're building apps on the job if you're already working. So this is the normal thing that we do on daily basis. So why wouldn't we build the similar type of business for us, for ourselves, and make some money out of it, and maybe even sell it for millions of dollars? I wish everything was as easy as it sounds. And I mean, like, sometimes it actually works like that. You build it up, it grows, you start making some money out of it, and then you maybe sell it for like 5x multiplier. This is actually the way that can potentially make you the most money actually fast, because you just sell your app for millions of dollars and you're a millionaire. To make $1 million out of teaching others or making content or doing services, it's gonna take you years to do that. But I just want you to understand how fucking hard it is to build your own app, to find users that will pay for that app, then to grow it to a good income just so you can sell it for a lot of money. First of all, if you already built applications either on the job or for your portfolio, you know how much time it takes. And on the job, yes, you're building kind of similar types of applications, but you're building them usually in a team of couple of people. You build them for like a lot of months, a lot of time. And of course, if you're gonna start building your own app, you'll not be leaving your job. So you're still gonna be coding for 8 hours every single day on the job. And then after your job, you're gonna have to sit and code again your own app. And of course, you'll not be able to code 16 hours a day. So probably, if you don't want to lose your job, you're gonna be working on your app like part-time. And you're gonna be working on it alone. So imagine already how much time it's gonna take for you to build this app. Most likely there, you'll have to use some of the new technologies that you usually don't use on the job. I mean, if you're able to build your app with the technologies that you already know, that's perfect, just use that. But sometimes to make your idea work, you'll need to learn some extra stuff. So allocate also some time to learn some extra stuff. But sell it, promote it, make content about it, make ads, write copies, write emails, create landing pages. So if you wanna sleep, eat, and have maybe some personal life, you'll not be even coding this app part-time, because some of the time gonna just go on those things like marketing and sales. So I don't want to say not to build your own app. That definitely can work out, and that's what I'm doing myself. I'm currently building the application to learn front-end development from scratch on your own in a fun and interactive way with a lot of cool features, and launching it soon. So that's a nice thing to do. But I just want you to understand how many hours, how many sleepless nights, how many wasted evenings you're gonna spend to make it work. That's why I put this way of making extra money in the end, because this is the hardest and the most time-consuming thing. And there is like almost 90% chance that all of this work gonna go for nothing and nobody will even use your app, because 90% of the startups completely fail, and it's really hard to find the right idea and make it work. And a lot of people who haven't tried businesses or building stuff for their own don't understand how much easier it is to make extra money on the job. That's why my main suggestion here is, before building like your own business or app, maybe, just maybe, it's worth to first maximize your earnings in your career, and then when you're gonna reach the top there, already focus on building your business to grow even more. Because like even doubling my salary on the job was fucking 5 times, 10 times easier than just making a little bit more money with the business. Because on the job, it's just about being confident, being good with your skills, building your reputation. So of course it takes some work, but it's like way easier to make more money by just growing like from junior to middle, from middle to senior, from senior to like tech lead, than to build your own business that's gonna bring you like extra income. So if your goal is not to build multi-million-dollar business, but just to make a couple of extra $1,000 per month, maybe it's better not to build a business or create it up, but just to get a second job, or find a freelance client, or find a part-time job, or just work better on the job to get a promotion, or maybe just switch the job, because this is the easiest way to make more money. Instead of getting 5% promotion every year on the same job, you can just switch the job and easily get 20, 30, or even 50, or sometimes even 100% promotion. Just think about doing that. Moreover, for a lot of people, getting this extra promotion, it's just about 1 or 2 months of some extra stuff on the side, like going through interviews or looking for clients or getting another job, versus to build a successful business that's gonna make like just a couple of $1,000. It might take you years to do so. But building an app can be a good way in 2 cases. One, if you already kind of reached close to the top in terms of your salary as a developer, in that case, you don't have a lot of room to grow there, and building your business is the long-term thing that you can do. Or the second state is that when you're a complete beginner, you already learned programming, but you don't have a job, and you can build your own startup, your own app as your portfolio project to be able to get the job. But in the meantime, maybe it will work out and you'll start even making some money out of it. So in both cases, you win. You either make it as a successful startup and make a lot of money from it, or you're gonna learn a lot of things, build a cool portfolio project with some real-world functionalities, and you'll be able to land the job thanks to that. So now let's cover the exact framework on how to build your own application and do your best to make it successful. As for almost any type of businesses, the first step is of course the idea. Here once again, this is really important step, and you don't want to build something that you maybe you need or you want. You need to do a huge research and understand what problem your application gonna be solving. So you need to find a really good problem that people are ready to pay for to solve it, and only in that case they're gonna work out. So your product ideally should be painkiller, so it should be killing a pain, rather than being just a nice app to have sometimes. A good example of that can be Tinder. Tinder kills a huge pain of being lonely, because people are not saying, oh, it will be nice to find a girlfriend or a boyfriend today, either for a night, or it will be just nice to find someone for a long relationships. No, people are freaking desperate to find the second half, because being lonely sucks. And only thanks to that, application like Tinder became a multi-billion-dollar company. Or another example, let's say I have an email list of a lot of people, and I send a weekly newsletter to those people. I don't want to send this weekly newsletter from like my Gmail and writing down all of the 10,000 emails that I have manually. I need some kind of tool to be able to send those newsletters, to automate stuff, to have some sequences. That's why a company like ConvertKit managed to scale to $1 billion, because it solves a huge problem of people, for content creators who have their own newsletters. They just need a tool to be able to send those newsletters. If you completely have zero ideas and don't know where to start, I recommend checking out a website called Product Hunt. That's a popular website that people use to launch their own startups and own products. And there you can just go and see what people are currently launching, how it works for them, what succeeds, what not succeeds, maybe read a lot of reviews, a lot of opinions, and just find some type of product that was already launched, read what people say about that, what bad people say about that, how it can be improved, and build your product that basically fixes those mistakes, makes it better, maybe combines a couple of products into one. So this is a really good starting point to start getting like your first ideas. All of the links and useful resources from this video will be in the description, so feel free to check it out. So after you got the idea that solves the actual problem, it's time for the second step, is validating your idea. So for validation, I recommend the book The Mom Test, as I already recommended it today. In simple words, you just want to find a couple of people who are interested in that type of application and that will be ready to pay money for it. Then interview those people, and when you're going to be building your first version of the app, or so-called MVP, you'll be constantly in contact with those people to build something that they want and not something that you want. Ideally, you want to take some money out of these people. It doesn't have to be thousands of dollars. It can be like maybe just $20 or $50 or $100 deposit. And for that, they will get like 1 year free premium access to the application, when like in practice, this 1 year access is gonna cost like, let's say $1,000. So they're gonna get it for like just 10% of the actual price. So you want this offer to sound like really good. And if they actually ready to pay you money for this application that is not yet ready, of course, it doesn't 100% guarantee you that it will be successful, but it significantly increases the chances of this product to succeed. Step 3 here is to build an MVP for those people who you found in the second step. So MVP, or so-called minimum viable product, is kind of the minimal version of your application. It doesn't mean that it should be bad or shitty. No, this should be actual good application that solves the core problem, but it doesn't have to have thousands of different extra features and extra functionalities. So if you're talking about Tinder, it doesn't have to have like chat, notifications, cool settings, multiply photos and stuff like that, but it should have this core functionality where you can swipe left or right, and after matching people, I should be able to contact this person with whom I matched. So maybe they can just send an email with, hey, you matched with this person. So it doesn't have to be fancy chat in the app or something like that, but it should still solve the core problem that you're solving and solve it good. Ideally, you should not spend more than 2 to 4 months to build your MVP. Because if you're gonna spend so much time on building it, some people are building MVPs literally in like days or weekends. And by the way, this is like very popular advice that people give, is to like spend really little time on your MVP. I would say that I kind of agree with that, but sometimes it can also harm, because if you launch something super shitty with a bunch of bugs, with not enough good functionalities, maybe people will not be even ready to pay for that. And because everybody follows that advice to launch just something super fast, now we have a full internet of shitty apps that are not working well and that are not solving the problems well. So I feel like you should find the golden middle between like building fast but still making it good for the customers. But in step 4, you should launch your MVP for a closed group of people. Ideally, it should be somewhere from 10 to like 100 people from your tests, from your initial validation, or your potential first customers that you're gonna find. And you should launch this application for those type of people to collect some first money, to get some feedback from them, to fix bugs, to add some improvements. And what is the most important is to get your first reviews, because reviews and social proof is super important for making conversions better. I've seen pages literally doubling their conversion rate just by having extra reviews. Moreover, those first customers customers will basically help you to add some extra features that users actually need and that users are ready to pay for, and will help you to iterate on your product to make it like better for a bigger launch. And of course, the last fifth step is to actually make a huge launch. So you want to post in social medias everywhere, you want to run ads, you want to run email marketing campaigns, you want to post it on product hunts, on Reddit, make some videos, reels, shorts, TikToks about it. So you're ready to make like a huge full launch for everybody else online. And because you already did this kind of mini launch, you're gonna have the product better, you're gonna have some social proof and reviews to improve your conversions, and you're gonna fix most of the super visible bugs. And yeah, that's how you launch an application in 5 simple steps that are gonna take you forever. Right now, you're probably wondering, like, where should I start? So which one is the best? And if you want straightforward, of course, it depends on a lot of things, but if you want a straightforward answer, here you are. If you don't know how to code well and you're still learning, just focus on that. Make sure to master the skill because you're gonna need some kind of skill to talk about. Moreover, the first stage of your income is not going to be like your business most likely, but it's going to be your job. So focus on learning programming, getting the job there. If you already know how to code and you're right now looking for a job or already working as a developer, I just recommend starting out with content. Because if you're gonna have an audience, you're really gonna have first people whom you're gonna teach, first clients of your services, and first users of your app. So starting out with any type of business will be way easier when you're really gonna have an audience. Moreover, if you don't have an idea of what business to start with, once again, you can just start with content, and with time of making content, you're gonna be connecting with people, and the idea will come just naturally to you. So right now you can take 2 routes as a developer. The first one is basically just focusing on your career. So you're gonna be just growing within like one company or multiple companies on your career. This is one way that can also bring you a lot of money. The second route that you can take is that when you're gonna reach pretty high levels in your career and you're gonna see that it will be like really hard or almost impossible to grow in terms of salary, you'll start building your side business and try to turn it into like your full-time job. And for both of those ways, you're gonna have to still learn HTML, CSS, let's say JavaScript, maybe React, because no matter you wanna build a career, you need to learn actual coding skills, or if you want to build a business, for your business, you're gonna need some type of skills that you can either teach, that you can use to provide services, or that you can use to build like first version of your application, if we're talking about building an application. In this video, we mainly focus on the second type of growing as a developer and covered how you can build like your side business and turn it into full-time business. And in the next video that you're gonna find in the description and somewhere here, we're gonna cover the first way of growing as a developer is just focusing on building your career and growing as much as possible to 10K per month and more. So see you in this video. Bye bye.